I think you might be noticing a pattern with my videos, and it's that most of them, the two that I've uploaded, are in pretty secluded locations. And I do that on purpose because, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm kind of embarrassed of myself, or that the fact that I'm being watched, or when I film this content, you know what I mean? And maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm actually a little weird, and the content that I'm filming isn't normal content to film. You know, I think being in a small town amplifies that feeling, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's got their own routines, everybody's doing their own things, everyone is, everyone just knows how it goes. And I think I've fallen into sort of a mindset where it's like, if I don't follow what other people necessarily do here, then I'm kind of just a weirdo, you know what I mean? Like, name anyone else that would be outside in the middle of the night. I could show you the time right now, actually. It's 1 o'clock again. 1 o'clock again for the third video. That's kind of a coincidence. I wasn't expecting to come out here again at 1 in the morning, but here I am. Name anyone else that does this type of thing that you know personally, and you probably couldn't name anyone else. And yeah, I said it. Quite frankly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed of filming in front of people. I'm embarrassed of talking in front of people that I don't know. Heck, I'm even a little embarrassed of being in this parking lot at 1 in the morning, even though I'm fairly certain there's no one watching me. And I choose locations where I think no one will stumble upon me, because it gives me a sense of security to say what I want to say and to do what I want to do. I really wanted to do this like type of video style for a while, and once I picked up the camcorder, I said, you know, let's do it. Let's just go ahead and get the camera rolling. Every single one of these videos is a one-take Timmy. I'm a one-take Timmy. I'm not a double-take Jake or a triple-take Tyler. I'm a one-take Jake, right? And in that way, you get to know how my mind works in real time, how I process the information that I want to say. And I've never really been good at saying what I think. I think I've always excelled in being good at writing what I think, at expressing myself in writing, but I never think I built the necessary skills that is to be able to really articulate what I think in words. But in doing this type of video journal content type thing, I think I'm forcing myself to learn that being embarrassed is really just a mindset. Being embarrassed is really just you. I mean, who dictates what is normal and not normal? And obviously there are some things that are out of the ordinary, that society dictates, that aren't, you know, the norm, like crimes and just general psychotic behavior. But I think if someone saw me do this at 1 in the morning in the middle of a parking lot, filming myself talking to a camera, I think the first thing they do is call the police. Which, you know, reasonable, but it's weird. It's out of the ordinary. And to do this is embarrassing because it's out of the ordinary, because not a lot of people do it, and me being, you know, I'm not the most, I'm not an individual that has the most gall, but you know, it's kind of a tough thing to do. But I think hopefully as I continue with this, I will begin to build character, in the sense that I won't be embarrassed by what I choose to do with my free time, with my free will. We all have free will, which means you could just, you know, you could do whatever you want. And what I choose to do with my free will is do this. And I think it really helps. Yeah, like I've stated before, it helps build the resistance against thinking that this is embarrassing. And maybe it is embarrassing. You know, I watch some of the videos that I make, and I just cringe a little. I cringe a little, and I say, oh, you know, kind of a rough one. But maybe that's just me talking myself down. And maybe I just need to learn that being embarrassed is just what you make of it. You know what I mean? Like, being embarrassed is just your mind telling you you're not following what everyone else is doing. What are you doing? You need to stop now. That's what I think embarrassment is. And as I said in one of my previous videos, I feel like doing new things and getting your mind out of that thought that what you're doing is embarrassing, whether it be trying a new sport, whether it be doing something new, going out on something new, and doing something new. I think that's just your brain being negative towards you. I think it's just your brain trying to keep you in your comfort zone. You know, something, a docked boat, something, never leaves the harbor, something, in the sea, you know? And you've heard it before. But, I think that I'll give you an example, actually. Oh, shit, dude. And there's someone over there. And they're hearing me. And all of a sudden, I'm embarrassed. But I'm a one take Jake. I'm not going to cut anything. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a story. And I'm going to continue to tell you about my experience, even though I know there's someone right over there that just started their truck. But I'm going to keep going. I just got back from Snap Fitness. And let me tell you, Snap Fitness is the worst gym of all time. It is poverty. It is genuine trash. There's one bench. There's maybe 6 treadmills and only 3 of them work. There is the remodel push all the barbells and the dumbbells into one room, and you're forced to use that room, and half of the time it's being used for some classes. I don't even know what it's about, and they charge hella for those classes. Not to mention the subscription. They're forcing you to pay basically an arm and a leg for a glorified apartment space with gym equipment. But anyway, I just got back from Snap Fitness, and before I started going to the gym, I was embarrassed. I remember very vividly staying up late and telling myself, tomorrow you're gonna go out, you're gonna go to the gym, you're gonna buy a subscription, you're gonna finally turn your life around. And next day came and I didn't, and I will forever be angry that I never did that. But can't change it. And I would go to Google and I'd search up the times where people were the least likely to go to the gym. And I still do it now, but it's not because I was ashamed or embarrassed of myself. I do it now because I just don't want to be, waiting for the bench to be unoccupied. All for just an old man to put his towel on the bench and have it be his for the rest of my workout, So I used to look up the times that would be the least busy at a gym, or the times the least amount of people would go out, per se, to go out on a run or something like that. And I would look these things up because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed by my image, by how I looked. I was embarrassed by what others would think of me. I was embarrassed that other people would see me and they'd say, "Look at that guy. Look at how fat he is. Look, he's trying to run. That's embarrassing." But after I started going to Snap, after I finally built up the courage to walk in there and buy a membership, all of that just didn't matter anymore to me. Every morning I would wake up and I'd go into that gym, and the only thing on my mind would be, alright, you're doing 30 minutes of cardio, then today's Monday, you're doing bench, you're going to do a little shoulder press later, you're going to do a little incline bench if you have time, this and that, and my mind never dwelled on, who is like looking at me right now, or who's thinking I'm weird for being at the gym. For the longest time, I felt like going to the gym was admitting defeat. Admitting that I was worthless. That I wasn't doing well with my life. But it's actually the opposite. Going to the gym showed me that it's not that buying the subscription isn't a sign of admitting that you've got problems, that you're worthless, but it's a sign that you're willing to make a change and step out of your comfort zone and do something else other than what you already do. Something better, something healthier. And I look back today and I feel like I was silly, you know? I feel like the only person stopping me from going to the gym was myself, right? You know, nobody in the gym ever, nobody in the gym, and this is a good thing, nobody in the gym cares about you. Nobody in the gym thinks about you. They're all focused on their own thing. Everyone has their own goals, and everyone has challenges that they need to overcome. And I really like the thought that everyone starts somewhere. And I was just starting. And I was that someone that was starting that somewhere. You know, I looked to all these people who were already incredibly jacked. They were going to snap for the love of the game, keeping their game up. And there was just me, you know. I was just there. But I'm glad I made the change, because I feel better after a workout. I feel like I've done something with my time. I feel like I've really let go of that mindset that is embarrassment. Embarrassment truly is just a mindset. And I'm glad I learned that eventually. You know? Hold on, let me readjust this real quick. Sorry. There we go. Again, I can't cut it. I'm a one take Jake. I don't cut anything. I don't cut corners. I give it to you how it is. With loud truck noises in the back and everything, with me thinking into the void, I give it to you how it is. Yeah. And I mean, if there's anyone watching this, you know, wanting to, and something else that I struggled with a lot was wearing, and I still do, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still do, but I did struggle a lot more with it in the past, was wearing new clothes, big step out of the comfort zone, wearing new clothes. Because all day I would think, you know, does this hide this? Does this fit me well? Does it, you know, show this, show that? Do the colors match? You know, that's what I'd be thinking all day. But I just had to find my style. I really did. I really just had to experiment with things to finally not feel embarrassed with what I bought. You know, as you can probably see from the camcorder, I really love the 2000s. I really love the look of it. You know, I really love, even the car right here, it's from the 2000s. Everything I wear, everything I try to match to the 2000s, because I feel like that was just a cool era. That was a cool time in the world, you know. I love the music, I love the culture, I love everything that came from that. And I feel like I just had to I really just had to not necessarily show that, but showing it did really help. But, you know, I feel like embracing that part of me and wearing clothes that sort of like fit that style really helped me push me out of my boundaries of wearing the same like bubble of normal clothes, you know what I mean? And I've been getting into graphic tees lately. Graphic tees are something I'd never ever wear in the past. I'd never think of buying a t-shirt with like a graphic on it on the front or the back and wearing it out. But I think that getting out of the mindset. Oh, there it is again. That's always kind of a scary thing. Um, but getting out of that mindset of being embarrassed by the stuff I wear is is a oh I just lost my train of thought. But I guess trying new things really made me feel less ashamed of how I looked or what I wore or how I felt in my own skin. And I'd be a liar if I said I still don't feel 100% comfortable with who I am, you know, with how I look, but I guess I'm progressing. I'm making progress to a state that I that I feel most comfortable in, you know? And that's a lot of personal stuff in a video. It's really like damn, you know what I mean? But I made this video series to be honest with myself, and if I were to just keep it in the vault just to watch it over and over again, I guess I'm not stepping out of my comfort zone. I guess I really am just keeping myself in a bubble. And maybe these videos are embarrassing. Maybe I'm embarrassing myself in front of however many people watch this. But maybe, maybe I'm thinking wrong. Maybe embarrassment is really just a mindset that you use to keep yourself in your bubble, keep yourself safe. KYS, but yeah. And to anyone struggling with self-image and looking a certain way, I feel like a billion times over, I wouldn't, I wouldn't change who I am, how I look, I guess. You know, don't be embarrassed about yourself. Everyone has, sure, embarrassing moments, but being embarrassed of who you are, that's just a mindset. And I'm glad that I'm working towards fixing that. And that's what this series is about, I guess. Not perfect. I'm not there yet, but at least I'm working towards that. And at least I'm taking the time to reflect about that, you know? And maybe this will inspire other people to not only to maybe even do this same type of thing, but to at least reflect maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes each day and think about stuff that stuff in their life, stuff about what makes them, stuff about what makes you you. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there though. Great talk. Besides the truck that keeps turning on. All right. Bye.